Right now at 6, the National Weather Service confirms a small tornado touched down in Taney County, Missouri, Monday.
We've got a few clouds out there over Joplin, patchy fog, and we're also keeping our eye on some thunderstorms out west this morning. We'll have the latest on that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, what a line for the new Whataburger in Joplin, but neighborhood residents hope this is just a temporary inconvenience.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So we've got some patchy fog out there. Some areas dense fog. We don't have any dense fog advisories at this point, but we do have some heavily reduced visibilities. We've got thunderstorms out to our west we're keeping an eye on, and we've got a severe threat as we head late into the evening and overnight. So after a brief break here in the Skywatch Weather Center, going to start to get a little on the busy side again. Let's start with the fog across here. Take a look. Fort Scott, 0 visibility right now. And you can see that does impact parts of 69, 54. Joplin Airport's reporting 1 mile of visibility, but we just checked our cameras in Joplin. You can see the fog, but at least in the city, it's not overly dense. But Carthage, down less than a mile. I-44, parts of US 60 also. Oh, see, I like when this updates. So you can see that fog continuing to spread out there. And our camera here at the station right about here, looking back to the west, we've got some fog out there as well. On top of that, we've got this complex of thunderstorms out to the west. Now, this first round is dying. And this round is not looking overly impressive. There was a lot more activity with it. I think the expectation here is it's eventually going to begin to die out as it enters our far western counties. But as we've mentioned earlier, the computer model data is really having a hard time picking up on these storms and exactly what they'll do. At least the good news is, even if they make it into our area, we're not anticipating any strong or severe thunderstorm activity with this complex this morning. But as we head into the late evening and overnight hours, that will change. This light blue cut zone right around us, we're in a cooler patch here. Most of us mid-upper 50s. Stockton still sitting as the warm spot at 60. So with that thunderstorm complex out west, going ahead and putting up maybe the possibility of a stray shower thunderstorm for some of us this morning. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies, 55 and a calm breeze. Then by this afternoon, all of that should be gone, and 78 by the time the bus brings them back. Partly cloudy skies, east winds around 5 to 10. And again, I'm saying the possibility that complex, if it survives, could bring a few isolated showers or storms through maybe 9, 10 o'clock at the latest, and will otherwise be partly cloudy, warming into the upper 70s, maybe even some low 80s today. And then after about 8 o'clock tonight, we get more thunderstorms, and these ones could be strong to severe. And we'll take a full look at your forecast and break down that severe threat for you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, no one is seriously hurt following the crash of a high school team bus last night in southwest Missouri. The school bus was carrying the Mount Vernon, Missouri baseball team when it crashed around 8:30 last night in Newton County. The Highway Patrol tells us the driver experienced a medical emergency on Missouri Highway 43 south of Petro. Investigators say the bus was traveling at a highway speed, went off the road, and hit a culvert. One student was taken to a Joplin hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The bus driver was taken to a hospital by private vehicle. Newton County Ambulance and Sheriff's Department and the Reddings Mill Fire Department all responded. The U.S. National Weather Service confirms a tornado touchdown outside of Branson. You're looking at video of that tornado that touched down briefly Monday at Paynes Valley Golf Course southeast of Hollister, Missouri. The National Weather Service says this was an EF0 tornado with peak winds of up to 70 miles per hour. A storm survey found some broken branches and a few snapped trees, but no reports of damage to homes or power lines. There were also no reported injuries. Everyone who was reported missing after a tornado that swept through Barnsdall, Oklahoma on May 6th has now been accounted for. A body recovered this weekend from Bird Creek, several miles south of Barnsdall, has been identified as that of 81-year-old Wayne Hogue. Hogue was reported missing from his home after the EF4 tornado struck his house and others in Barnsdall. The Osage County Sheriff's Office extended its thanks to everyone who assisted in the search efforts. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Voters in Bourbon County, Kansas yesterday passed a plan to help establish and operate a new emergency department in the county. It comes after Ascension Via Christi closed its ER in Fort Scott late last year. It implements a new quarter-cent retail sales tax to fund the proposal. That tax will take effect on October 1st and remain in effect for 5 years. It's National Police Week, so the Jasper County Sheriff's Office took time to honor fallen law enforcement officers. The ceremony at the county courthouse in Carthage recognized the brave men and women who were killed in the line of duty while serving Jasper County. Local officials, law enforcement members, and community leaders all paid their respects. A state audit of Joplin's financial records continues despite high marks on a separate audit. The award is for a separate annual audit by an independent auditor that's required by city charter. For 33 years, the Government Finance Officers Association awarded the city of Joplin with a Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting. The city says the goal of the independent audit is to provide reassurance and transparency to citizens. The award is for the 2022 budget year.
And so we've submitted that one, and we anticipate that we will receive that award again for the 34th year in a row.
Again, the audit demanded by the petition is still underway. The state auditor's office had told us previously that audit was to begin in February. We reached out to the office yesterday to get an update. We have not yet received a response. The new Whataburger in Joplin opened its drive-thru this week, and it's causing some traffic issues. To avoid traffic on Range Line, the drive-thru line is currently being directed to the neighborhood behind the restaurant. According to Whataburger, this is a temporary solution, and once the traffic slows down, it will be moved to Range Line. While most residents KOAM spoke to said the extra traffic doesn't bother them, some share their concerns.
It doesn't bother me. I'm sure it bothers some of our other neighbors where their driveways are blocked, but our driveway isn't blocked so we can get it in and out, so it doesn't bother us.
Whataburger always reaches out to the community before we open a restaurant, and we talked to the Joplin Police Department, and we had to make a decision as to what the best traffic pattern would be so that we could not hinder traffic.
The Joplin Police Department says Whataburger hired off-duty officers to work an extra duty assignment at their location, and part of their duties is to oversee traffic congestion. According to the PD, their patrol and traffic divisions may assist if needed. Currently, the restaurant only offers the drive-thru option. Dining room and curbside services will follow in a couple of weeks. And that's a look at some of this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The interest rates on new federal student loans is expected to hit a 12-year high. Plus, Trump's lawyers began cross-examining star prosecution witness Michael Cohen in Trump's Manhattan criminal trial. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning. If you think the rent is high, wait until you need to pay for childcare. Childcare costs continue to be a major financial burden for many parents. According to Childcare Aware of America's latest annual report released Wednesday, if you have 2 kids and live in one of 11 states or Washington, D.C., childcare costs at least twice as much as rent. Those states are Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Wisconsin. In every other state in the U.S., placing 2 kids in child care center costs at least a quarter more than the average rent. And if you have a mortgage, the child care bill exceeds annual typical mortgage payments in 45 states, and Washington, D.C., according to Childcare Aware. Nationwide, the average annual cost of care rose to nearly $11,600 per child last year. The interest rates on new federal student loans is expected to hit a 12-year high. This upcoming 2024 to 2025 academic college year, the interest rates for undergraduate student loans will rise above 6.5%. That's up from 5.5% for the current year. The federal student loan interest rate has not been that high since the 2012 to 2013 school year. Both graduate students and PLUS loans recipients will also see an interest rate hike this academic school year. However, President Joe Biden's new student loan repayment plan, named SAVE, could make it easier for future borrowers despite the increases. The Biden administration is currently working on a set of new proposals to deliver relief to certain groups of borrowers. Former President Donald Trump's Manhattan criminal trial took a fiery turn as his lawyers began cross-examining star prosecution witness Michael Cohen. Defense attorneys are attempting to paint Trump's former fixer as motivated by vengeance. Cohen is expected back on the stand tomorrow as the jury tries to determine whether the former president is guilty of knowingly falsifying business records to allegedly disguise hush money payments as legal fees. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from New York.
Michael Cohen, Trump's fixer turned fierce adversary, is facing a confrontational cross-examination from the former president's defense.
We had a very good day.
Tuesday, Trump's attorney Todd Blanche worked to discredit Cohen, pointing out his public attacks on his former boss and attempts to sell disparaging merch online, like this t-shirt depicting Trump behind bars. At one point, Blanche asked Cohen if he wanted to see Trump convicted. Cohen responded, sure.
They're basically doing everything they can to make the jury see Cohen as someone who's really almost like a jilted lover, someone who at one point would do anything for Donald Trump, and now he's done a 180, and his whole life's motive is to get revenge.
A gag order has barred Trump from publicly discussing some details of the trial. Tuesday, an appeals court refused to remove it. But this week, a throng of big-name Republican supporters have shown up to court and lobbed attacks of their own, including House Speaker Mike Johnson.
This is the fifth week that President Trump has been in court for this sham of a trial.
In his testimony so far, Cohen claims Trump was aware of a plan to pay him back for funneling $130,000 to adult film star Stormy Daniels in order to hide an alleged past sexual encounter ahead of the 2016 election, saying Trump knew financial records would list the reimbursements as legal fees. Trump denies the encounter and has pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
The prosecution has said that Michael Cohen is their last witness and they are expected to rest soon. After that, the defense will begin presenting its case. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Now we've got a few scattered showers, a couple of thunderstorms out to our west. The good news is even in the latest radar updates, these are beginning to die out. So if we do see any showers, they're going to maybe make it as far as, say, Chanute, maybe Parsons, before they fizzle out completely. The good news is, regardless of how far they make it, we're not anticipating any severe weather with this activity. Live look from our camera, 7th and Range line, we're looking pretty good, but we do have some fog out there that we've got to contend with this morning. No fog advisories, but if you're in Fort Scott, Carthage, Fort Scott, zero visibility, Carthage less than a mile. That's including parts of I-44, I-49, US 54, US 60. Got to slow down, use your low beams, not your high beams, and just give yourself time to get where you're going as you head through the morning hours. As we head into the afternoon, after any of these stray showers fizzle out, we'll be partly cloudy and warm today. Temperatures going up into the upper 70s and low 80s. We do have an increasing severe threat as we head later into the evening and overnight. We'll have details on that when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Students at a Philadelphia nursing school could barely recognize their own names being called at their graduation. It was due to an attempt to pronounce the names phonetically degenerated into a hilarious series of mispronunciations. Jeannie Moose shows us.
Never have so many names been so butchered, even easy ones like Victoria Elizabeth Bruce.
Victoria Lee Zubeth Bruce.
Butchered beyond recognition, be it Megan.
Mijinlu Iabri.
Or Allison.
Alisuna Cole Bishop.
And how can you mangle Molly?
Marlena Zobeth Camp.
The announcer at Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia was reading off phonetically spelled names on cards. But how hard is it to pronounce Thomas?
For the record, Thomas, can you state your full name for us?
Thomas Michael Canaveri Jr.
Thomas was the first College of Nursing grad to actually correct the mispronunciation.
Thomas.
Thomas, the name of our school, Thomas Jefferson University.
Thomas says at first it felt like a slap in the face.
Thomas.
Then she never even said my last name at all.
But now that the video has gone viral,
I just cannot stop with thinking of laughing about it. I'll never forget that day for as long as I live.
Neither will Sarah Virginia Brennan.
Sayer Uvun Jinju Brinan.
On her Instagram, Sarah posted a new degree and name. Thanks, I guess. The announcer apologized, so did Thomas Jefferson University, saying each graduate deserves to have their name honored correctly. But for now, Thomas is AKA Tamume.
That's my new nickname all my friends have gave me.
And when Thomas congratulated his new friend,
Sayer,
he addressed her and signed off with their new names.
Tamume,
Ginny Most, CNN, New York.
Thomas.
And I thought it was bad when they called me Elaine at my college graduation. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Now we've got some patchy fog out there, a few stray showers trying to enter into our western counties. Well, the latest on your forecast and our potential severe threat when we come back.
With these hot deals in Menards. All prices after 11% rebate. Natural wood mulch is just $169. Status indoor-outdoor carpet is only 49 cents a square foot. 10-inch premium hanging baskets are just $9.99. And all Burpee seeds are on sale, plus 11% rebate. These hot deals won't last long. Hurry in before time runs out. Sign up for Menards emails to get more hot deals, plus the weekly flyer right to your inbox.
Save big money at Menards.
Closed captioning on KOAM TV is sponsored by Aaron Sachs & Associates, proud partner of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Right now, Sonic Shakes are half price after 7 p.m. when you order online or in the app. So save on your strawberry shake today, and your chocolate shake tomorrow, and your Oreo cheesecake shake the next day. Sonic half price shakes after 7 p.m. An online and app exclusive.
Need new floors in one room, 2 rooms, the whole house? Johnson Floor & Home makes your flooring updates easy and affordable. It's our whole house sale. Buy 1 square foot of any in-stock luxury vinyl, hardwood, tile, and get the second foot half off. Free labor on every carpet. With 3 years to pay, interest-free. Why wait weeks for new floors? Take home new floors today with our huge in-stock inventory. Johnson Floor & Home, your hometown flooring team.
Protection with style. Before you step into the sun, come see us at Kennar Eye Care. The clear choice.
The new $1.99 Sonic Crispy Tender Wraps are here for a limited time in bold flavors like hickory barbecue or cheesy Baja. Give yourself some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic Crispy Tender Wraps.
The Morning Health Watch on KOAM is sponsored by Integris Health with hospitals in Miami and Grove. Integris Health, partnering with people to live healthier lives.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:23 now on this Wednesday morning. Take a look, MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline. Fog starting to thicken up a bit in the Joplin area. This is the MoDOT camera down in Neosho looking back to the east. You could see some fog again thickening up down around the Neosho area as well. Here's a look at the fog tracker. Fort Scott, you've improved that much, up to 1/10 of a mile of visibility. So this is impacting 54 from Fort Scott back toward Nevada, 69 heading down south through Pittsburgh. Joplin's down to a mile of visibility now. Carthage just under a mile. So a lot of our major highways, 160, 69, I-49. I-44, US 60, 54, 126, all in this zone. impacted by some dense fog. Now again, no dense fog advisories, but nonetheless, you need to slow down, use your low beams, not your high beams, and give yourself time to get where you're going out there this morning. Here's some good news on this activity. As we discussed earlier, I mentioned the most elementary and valuable statement in science, the beginning of wisdom, as it's put, is I do not know. That was the case with these showers and storms. Model data was not picking up on them. So I did not know what they were going to do. The good news is, even though they're trying to work into our western counties, they're looking as though they are slowly beginning to die, which is good news for now. Unfortunately, as we head into the evening hours, that good news is going to change. So take a look at that complex, though. It got going pretty well, but as it moves a little further to the east, just beginning to die out there. Tonight, though, we have a different situation. We do have a threat for strong to severe thunderstorms, and this has increased quite a bit since yesterday. As you recall, we had that low-end risk for severe storms across parts of Kansas. No longer the case. We now have a low to elevated tornado risk into parts of Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma. Then we have a low to elevated hail threat. Again, this primarily into Kansas and Oklahoma at this point. Wind is looking to be the primary concern with these storms. We have that low, elevated, and even enhanced risk for damaging wind gusts. That covers a much broader area. And these little hash marks back here into parts of Elk, Chautauqua, Montgomery counties, indicating the possibility of winds 70, 80 miles an hour. Then we do also head into our Thursday. We have a low end risk for some strong to low grade severe thunderstorms across the entire area. Wind and hail looking to be the primary concern there. And then Friday, no severe areas highlighted, but the scattered storm chances will stick with us. So let's look at the future track. Today, again, those showers out there should die out. Otherwise, we will be partly cloudy, warm, upper 70s, low 80s. Clouds increasing this evening, and by about 9 o'clock, we get this complex of thunderstorms rolling into the area. And this is when our severe threat's going to ramp up between, say, about, let's say, 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. Then we'll see a brief pause for some of us, maybe some showers, then more thunderstorms by tomorrow morning. Again, some of these could be strong, low-grade, severe. And then throughout the day Thursday, our storms will be scattered. It won't be rain everywhere all at once, but the storms that we do see throughout our Thursday could be strong, potentially severe out there with, again, wind and hail as the primary concerns. Those showers out west should kick out of here, begin to dissipate, maybe lasting through 8, 9 o'clock for some of our western counties. Then we'll have those thunderstorms tonight. We'll have thunderstorms Thursday and Friday. Our weekend still looking great, though. Upper 70s, low 80s, sunny skies. And then as we head into next week, we're warm, mid 80s. We also see a number of thunderstorm chances. That's a check of your forecast. Now here's Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, people who have higher incomes have a 32% lower risk of dying after a stroke. That's according to new research presented at the European Stroke Organization conference. Researchers looked at key social health components, including income and education. They found multiple unfavorable factors increased a person's risk of death. Surgical teams that include men and women are associated with better post-op outcomes. A paper in the British Journal of Surgery attributes the improved outcomes to different skills and experiences male and female doctors bring to the workplace. Researchers also note that female doctors in operating rooms still remains uncommon. If you thought last summer was the most unbearable ever, you were apparently right. Using tree ring data, researchers from Germany and the UK found 2023 was the hottest summer in the Northern Hemisphere in the past 2,000 years. And try to stay cool. The current El Nino is expected to continue into this summer, likely breaking records once again. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
Family Insurance. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly.
Right now at 6:30, Freeman celebrates future leaders with 8 graduates of its Freeman Aspiring Leader program.
Take a look at this shot from our camera, 7th and Rangeline. Dense fog out there for some of us this morning, and we've got thunderstorm chances tonight. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the city of Joplin brings a unique concert experience to the community this month.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's just coming up on 6:31. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So we've had a few showers, a couple of thunderstorms out to the west. They're dying out, but some of our far western counties could still get a little rain this morning.
Right.
And then the further east you go, you're dealing with dense fog as you head out the door this morning. No dense fog advisories out there, but that, as we just showed you at our camera at 7th and Rangeline, that does not mean there's not dense fog.
No, certainly not.
And then we've got thunderstorm chances tonight. Some of those could be strong, possibly severe. So a lot going on today. Very busy start to the day. This is a look from our camera on the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. As you can see in the downtown area, if you look off in the horizon, you see the fog, but it's not as thick in downtown as it is along Rangeline. This is the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline. Look at the visibilities. They are significantly reduced out there, and that's just one small snapshot of the fog across the area. Fort Scott down to 1/10 of a mile of visibility. Pittsburgh, Carthage, Joplin, Miami, Anderson, Grove, Mount Vernon, Cassville, all dealing with some significantly reduced visibilities out there. So this includes a lot of our main highways that people are going to be commuting on this morning. 69, 160, 126, 54, I-49, I-44, US 60. If you're driving this morning, you're commuting, you need to slow down, use your low beams, not your high beams, and be prepared for some patchy, dense fog. Showers and storms out to our west just starting to enter Greenwood, Elk, and Chautauqua counties. They are beginning to fizzle out there, which is good news. Because, boy, they were really going earlier. In fact, we backed this up a bit with quite a bit of lightning. These storms kind of cycled up there, and then they just began to die out the further west they moved. So some of us could have some stray showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. I'd say from, say, Iola down to Parsons, Chautauqua, and points west, you may get a stray shower storm this morning. The rest of us will remain dry, it looks like. We're going to be sitting into the mid to upper 50s right now. Kids getting on the bus. We're looking at about 55. Again, maybe an isolated shower storm. Calm winds out there. By the time the bus comes home, partly cloudy, 78, east breeze 5 to 10. Our highs today, upper 70s, low 80s, and partly cloudy skies. Again, a few stray showers may be hanging on through about 9 o'clock. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, we do have a severe threat as we had late evening and overnight. We're going to break down the details on that a little later. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Freeman celebrated future leaders yesterday with 8 graduates of its Freeman Aspiring Leader program. The program allows accepted Freeman applicants to learn and pursue leadership roles with Freeman. Each applicant had to come up with a project and then develop and research all areas of implementing it. The applicants wrapped up their projects with a 20-minute presentation to the other participants, supervisors, and leaders.
That we see leadership potential in. So giving them some resources, more education, different opportunities to advance their leadership skills. So in the event that there is a leadership position open that they would maybe be qualified for or would be a good fit for, it kind of gives them already that head start to know some of those pieces about maybe finances, budgeting, human resources.
The Freeman Aspiring Leader program ran 8 months from September of last year to yesterday. The Joplin Regional Community Foundation yesterday donated $130,000 to 3 area nonprofits. The money comes through the foundation's Philanthropic Society. The Joplin Police Department, Creative Learning Alliance, and Watered Gardens each get at least $30,000. Excuse me. The JRCF says grants like this are all a part of its mission.
It's a good start. It's a very good start. I'm wanting to get several of these embedded police social workers up and running. That's going to be a process. The city council is behind me on this initiative. The city manager is excited about this initiative, but it's going to be a process. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Since the first grants in 2019, the Philanthropic Society has awarded more than $1.1 million to nonprofits serving Joplin, Webb City, and Carl Junction. The city of Joplin brings a unique concert experience to the community this month. The concert truck is a 16-foot box truck that transforms into a sort of mobile concert hall capable of bringing a musical experience anywhere in the community. Teaching artists Susan Zhang and Gabrielle Chu will perform 7 times in 5 days and will bring their own special love of music to the concert truck stage.
Expect a lot of really fun, charming
profound and beautiful music from the classical canon. We usually do a little bit of genre bending, not so much this week, but sometimes we might reach a little bit outside of classical.
The concert truck series begins later today and wraps up on Sunday. For a full schedule of performances and locations, just head over to our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. The city of Carthage brought history to life yesterday with the Great Americans Day. The roughly 6-hour event provided a field trip for hundreds of kids to learn about various historical figures brought to life by volunteers by the Carthage community. Figures such as Harriet Beecher Stowe.
And her education was key. And I want the children to see that too, that they are so blessed to have an education and to be able to get it, because back during Harriet's time, that was just unheard of. It was considered a waste of money to educate a female.
Due to weather concerns, the event was moved from the Central Park over to the Fairview Christian Church. Pitt State is almost set to begin construction on its new soccer pitch. The all-turf pitch will be built on the field between Weed Gymnasium and the University Lake by the Gorilla Walk Path. It will be built in phases, starting with the turf and equipment. Then future additions will include a press box, lighting, fencing, and seating. Officials expect it to be ready in time for the start of the women's team's first regular season game this fall. They will host 9 home games in the first season. Now to look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We'll hear how restaurant workers are suffering from tipflation on the West Coast. And rain chances continue. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
At Kubota of Joplin, we're all about getting it done. Now's the time to get the L25.
See Smith Cycle Center in Pittsburgh. What are you waiting for?
In Consumer Watch this morning, just about everything costs more these days, including tips for services. Restaurant workers are suffering from tipflation on the West Coast. Andrea Esparza has more on how over asking for tips could be the reason for customer backlash.
When was the last time you purchased something and weren't asked to tip? Yeah, me neither. Well, you're not going crazy if you feel like everyone is asking for a tip.
A lot of folks are now at the point where they're ultra sensitive with tipping.
In 2019, the average gratuity rate was 15%, but digital payment company Square reports that in April of 2020, customers were leaving 22% tips. And one etiquette expert believes the reason for the record jump is COVID.
They were tipping above and beyond the norm because they knew that folks in the service-based industry were really getting hit hard. People are now expecting people to tip, and they're expecting them to tip greater than they were before the pandemic.
And numbers are showing a previous generosity could be turning sour. A Bankrate survey suggests that 2/3 of Americans have a negative view of tipping.
When people tip us more, it helps me pay my bills, it helps with my gas. Wages aren't always gonna make it nowadays because of inflation.
Well, that leads us to a common argument among customers. Why don't owners pay their staff members more so they don't need tips? And as the owner of Noble Pie explains, it's not so easy.
If you want to raise all the menu prices and increase the gross of the company so that it can afford higher just direct wages with no tips, then the company's controlling how much you spend.
There is no doubt that the service industry is changing, and UNR graduate David Main saw it coming 10 years ago when he wrote his thesis on tipping etiquette.
Instead of now it's being, you're taking care of the delivery driver. So there should be some mechanism where it's equal across the board.
With every purchase and tablet flip, customers are paying more, but at the end of the day, whether you tip or not, it's ultimately your choice. In Reno, I'm Andrea Esparza.
A group of prominent TikTok users are suing the federal government to stop a law that could lead to the popular app's ban in the U.S. The users say the law violates their First Amendment rights. President Biden signed the measure into law last month, which requires TikTok's China-based parent company ByteDance to sell its stake in the app or face a ban. TikTok has also filed a separate legal challenge to the law. Comcast is launching a new bundled streaming service later this month called Stream Saver, where customers can watch Netflix, Apple Plus, and Peacock together. The company did not say how much the service will cost, though it says prices will be vastly reduced. The announcement comes days after Disney and Warner Brothers Discovery announced it will bundle Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max. And attention bookworms, and Amazon kicks off its first ever major book sale today to help you get started on your summer reading. Print books are up to 50% off, while Kindle books are as much as 80% off. The promotion runs through May 20th exclusively for Amazon customers. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Still dealing with areas of patchy, dense fog across the area. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline, you can see that fog has thickened up a bit since the last time we took a look outside. Fort Scott back down to 0 visibility. Joplin, Carthage below 1 mile. Pittsburgh, Miami, Anderson, Cassville, Mount Vernon also being impacted by this dense fog. So 69, I-49, 54, 160, 126, I-44 in these zones right here. You're going to have to slow down, use your low beams, not your high beams. Give yourself time to get where you're going out there. We're still watching these showers and storms now entering into parts of Elk, Chautauqua, and Greenwood counties out there. Again, these are expected to die out before too much longer, but they may make it as far east as, say, Parsons, Iola, before they begin to fizzle out. And the good news is no severe weather with any of this activity, which is great news. Unfortunately, as we head into tonight, that situation may change for us as we're looking at the possibility of some strong to severe storms. Temperatures as we head out the door, a little bit on the cool side too, mid-upper 50s across the area. And as the kids get on the bus this morning, again, a isolated storm or two possible for some of us. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies, 55 and a calm wind. And when that bus brings them back home, partly cloudy, 78, east breeze around 5 to 10. We're taking another look at the forecast. We're going to break down our severe thunderstorm chances as we head into this evening. And, of course, the news, birthdays and anniversaries, rather. I'm just getting ahead of myself. Those are also coming up after the break. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you. I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, award-winning actor, producer, and comedian Whoopi Goldberg will be here in the studio. She's talking about her new memoir and the two people she credits with the success of her incredible career. And it is incredible. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
Your piece of paradise. Heritage Tractor is here for you.
All right, time for some Wednesday birthdays in the 4 states, starting with Rogue Horton in Springfield, celebrating birthday number 5 with love from Papa Jim and Grandma Judy.
And a happy birthday to Tommy Church Keith, turning 83 today from Arma. It says your family loves you so much.
And Kenneth Frobish celebrating birthday number 86 in Columbus. A very happy birthday to you, Kenneth.
And over in Parsons, Nora May Kramer Winslow, happy birthday to you, Nora. You're turning 97 today, and it says mother to 8 children, grandmother to 12, great-grandmother to 5, and mother-in-law to former KOAM anchor reporter Toby Cook.
All right, and our list continues with Jaden Spainhauer celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Jaden.
And a happy anniversary to Julie Cox and Corey Pitts. They're celebrating their 16th anniversary from Lamar.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries, and we want to keep that going. Elise, how do they help us keep it going?
You can do so by submitting their birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those photos and messages and to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen.
Absolutely. That's just to ensure, of course, that your birthday and anniversary air at the appropriate time. You don't want your loved ones to miss it, do you? Of course not. Let's take a look outside. We're going to start first with our camera on the Cornell complex in downtown Joplin. Now you can see off in the horizon fog, and if you look a little further to the east, it's a little thicker. In downtown, though, not as bad, but again, you head to the east side of town, take a look at the MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline, rather, and you can see how thick that fog has become, and it's picking up down in the Neosho area. MoDOT camera here, US 60, Missouri 59, looking back to the east, and you can see how thick that fog has become out there. Fort Scott, 0 visibility. We covered these towns earlier, but just a reminder, Fort Scott, Nevada, Carthage, Pittsburgh, Joplin, Miami, Anderson, Bentonville, Cassville, Mount Vernon, all dealing with reduced visibilities. And of course, that covers good portions of I-49, I-44, US 60, US 69, 160, 126. You're going to have to slow down. Use your low beams, not your high beams. Give yourself time to get where you're going. Just reading some of the latest guidance on these showers and storms entering our western counties. They are expected to begin to fizzle out here before too much longer. But some of you may be as far west as, I'm saying more of this line, Iola, Chanute, Parsons, and points west. They may make it that long before they'll begin to kind of fizzle out as they head further east out there. And then we're going to see additional development take place later out to our west, and that's going to bring us the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms. So here's where we stand right now. We have this low to elevated tornado threat in parts of southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma. We have a low to elevated hail risk across most of Kansas and Oklahoma. And then this is the broader area, wind damage. Low elevated to enhanced risk for significant winds out there, and those hash marks indicating winds possible 70 to 80 miles an hour or greater with some of these storms later tonight. Then as we head into our Thursday, we have a low end risk for strong to low grade severe thunderstorms across most of the area, with wind and hail being the primary concern. And for our Friday, we still have those scattered thunderstorms, but at this point, no severe areas highlighted as of yet. Heading into the afternoon, again, any of those showers should be gone before noon out there. Will be partly cloudy, warmer today, upper 70s, low 80s. Here we are at 5 o'clock, clouds beginning to increase, and then by about 8, 9 o'clock, we get this complex of thunderstorms rolling into southeast Kansas, and this is where our opportunity for strong to severe thunderstorms is going to be. So here it is at about 10. As we head to about midnight, more showers and thunderstorms, again, strong, potentially severe thunderstorms out there. We'll see that transition to some showers late, well, let's say very early in the morning Thursday. I think our greater severe threats between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. And then by 5, we'll see another opportunity for some thunderstorms. Some of those could be strong, low-grade severe. And then we'll have scattered thunderstorms throughout the day Thursday. So it's not rain everywhere all at once on Thursday, but the storms we do see could be strong to low-grade severe. We're having another look at your forecast and, of course, the news you need to know here in just a moment. And when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to hear how a Michigan 6th grader went from playing piano by himself to teaching his fellow classmates.
A four-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A school bus carrying the Mount Vernon, Missouri baseball team was involved in an accident around 8:30 last night in Newton County. The driver experienced a medical emergency on Missouri Highway 43 south of Petro. The bus was traveling at highway speed, went off the road and hit a culvert. One student was taken to a Joplin hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and the bus driver was taken to a hospital by private vehicle. Voters in Bourbon County, Kansas passed a plan to help establish and operate a new emergency department in the county yesterday. It implements a new quarter-cent retail sales tax to fund the proposal. That tax will take effect on October 1st and remain in effect for 5 years. Pitt State is ready to begin construction on its new soccer pitch. The pitch will be built on the field between the Weed Gymnasium and the University Lake by the Gorilla Walk path. It will be built in phases, starting with the turf and equipment. Officials expect it to be ready in time for the start of the women's team's first regular season game this fall. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, again, some of us, an isolated shower or storm this morning, especially a little further west. Otherwise, partly cloudy, foggy this morning as well, so watch out for that. We'll be partly cloudy into the afternoon, highs upper 70s and even into the low 80s. Then, about 8 o'clock or so, thunderstorm chances begin to increase, and these storms could be strong, potentially severe, with all hazards possible. But the greater concern right now is for damaging wind gusts overspreading a good portion of the area. We'll fall back into the low 60s. We'll have scattered thunderstorms throughout the day Thursday and Friday. Some of the storms Thursday could be strong to low-grade severe. Clearing out for the weekend, looking great and warm, upper 70s and low 80s. We'll hang out in the mid-80s going into next week, and we're looking at several possible rounds of scattered showers and thunderstorms.
All righty, thanks, Chris. Coming up today at noon, we're making Tutti Frutti Ambrosia in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. New data on inflation is coming out today. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Jill Schleichinger will have what to expect and why inflation has remained so high.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, President Biden slapped new tariffs on some Chinese imports yesterday as he aims to prove he's tougher on China than his predecessor.
Plus, Emily Frankowski is going to join us from Connect the Culture to talk about some of the concert truck series. A very fascinating event coming up.
Exciting.
However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll, of course, see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.